As Horace Kephart wrote in 1917, it isn't the fella who's catching lots of fish and shooting plenty of game that's having the good time. It's the chap who's getting ready to do it. So true. In fact, research even shows that the anticipation of an event can bring as much joy as the event itself, which is pretty cool. As I make this video, I'm 1 week away from taking a float plane hundreds of miles into the Canadian wilderness, and I'm already on cloud 9. Personally, I like to undertake at least one epic adventure each year that combines a man's need for real adventure, risk, and nature. Something that when you tell them about makes them go, holy shit, that sounds amazing, and is immediately followed by 20 questions. Something you can collect gear for and constantly tweak and overhaul throughout the year. Something so awesome that when you think of it, no matter how lousy a day you're having, takes you to a happy place of anticipatory delight. For me, this has been my annual fishing expedition deep inside the Canadian wilderness, where I can disconnect from the distraction of the outside world and reconnect with the great outdoors, myself, and closest friends. And do lots of fishing. Lots of fishing. I've always subscribed to the maxim of the famed angler and author John Gierach, who writes that, quote, "The solution to any problem, work, love, money, whatever, is to go fishing, and the worse the problem, the longer the trip should be." While I certainly enjoy the fishing part of the journey, honestly, even more than that, I love the challenges inherent in the adventure itself, of constantly adapting to the unpredictable elements, of navigating the maze of lakes and rivers with nothing but a map, compass, and my own wits, and the self-sufficiency that comes with obtaining, by my own hand, sustenance from the wilderness around me. I've been lost, caught in snowstorms, nearly struck by lightning on several occasions. I've been sucked down rapids backwards that nobody should even attempt to go down forwards. I've been accidentally bear maced, got a beaver stuck in my engine prop, and hit a submerged rock so hard that I did a front flip 14 feet forward in the bow of my boat. I've been caught miles from camp in complete darkness, spent an entire day trying to paddle home with a net after my engine died, and nearly blew myself up with a gasoline fire. While unplanned, such instances are embraced as part of the adventure, chiseling a man with the sculpting forces of nature by testing him in 100 unexpected ways. Author John Eldredge touches on this in his superb book, Wild at Heart, writing, quote, "The fact is, adventure requires something of us, puts us to the test. Though we may fear the test, at the same time we yearn to be tested, to discover that we have what it takes. If a man has lost this desire, he says he doesn't want it. That's only because he doesn't know if he has what it takes or believes that he'll fail the test. And so he decides it's better not to try. But you can't escape it. There's something wild in the heart of every man." Such trips don't just test you, but also all the guys who join you on the adventure, providing a deeper insight into the strength, character, and grit of your closest friends. I've seen guys boat swamp. I've seen them turn hypothermic. And I've seen them freeze like deer in headlights as disaster unfolds. I've seen them cold, wet, and hungry. I've seen the terrified look in their eyes when they realized we were lost and night was coming on fast. I've seen them lose their temper when their line snaps, when breaking a pole, or after forgetting some piece of necessary gear. I've also seen one try and fight a bear with a knife to protect his boatmates. You're a legend, Davy boy. I've seen another run down a fox who dragged her supper, stringer full of walleyes, into the woods, and still others who braved rapids in the middle of the night to locate and rescue stranded comrades. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus was dead on when he wrote that, quote, "The true man is revealed in difficult times." If you haven't been with your friends in such circumstances, how well can you really know them? Or for that matter, know yourself? That's something to think about. As John Eldredge writes, adventure with all of its requisite danger and wildness is a deeply spiritual longing written into the soul of man. And I couldn't agree more. And if you're watching this and you hear the same call to wild, trust me, it's entirely natural and you're not alone. I'm sure some of you might be thinking, I'd love to have more adventures, but I'm way too busy. Just got too many responsibilities right now. But here's the thing, life's only going to get busier, and responsibilities never go away. If you put off adventures and living your life for too long, you're going to settle for a life that's good enough instead of great. And in making excuses for why you shouldn't go, you also cheat your wife and kids and family and friends of having you at your best, and you weaken yourself by putting off the restoration you need. Make no mistake, a man needs adventure in his life. His spirit yearns for it. His heart demands it. It's like a necessary nutrient that without withers him away ever so slowly until he looks back a decade later and wonders where the hell all the time went and why, in hindsight, he played it all so safe. Most of you guys know my story. A decade ago, I was working as a college professor, had settled into a lousy routine in my life, and mentally got pretty wrecked. It was at this time that I read Eldridge's book, Wild at Heart, and began, as the author puts it, recovering my strength in the wilderness, through adventures in the great outdoors. That set me on the path to farther self-development, reading more, getting outside, reconnecting with nature, spending more time with friends, living healthier, becoming a better husband, and so on. Look, I'm not a life coach or any sort of guru. I'm a historian who couldn't help but look at the past and marvel at how out of sync we've become from our natural rhythms and design. I knew I had, so I decided to intentionally change my life by actually living it. I decided to get up, take action, and strive to become a better man, like my grandfather and other men I'd read about in the past who held themselves to higher standards and led lives worthy of emulation. That's why I started the Roosevelt Society, and that's what it's all about. Getting men unstuck and back in their lives, mentally and physically healthier, more active outdoors, present, and in rhythm with how history shows us men are supposed to live. When I launched the program this past June, I didn't expect it to sell out, but it did. So, for those of you who weren't able to secure a spot last time around, just know that we'll be offering it again in late September. So, if this resonates with you, awesome. Be sure to join the mailing list and stay up to date on the latest program news, because it's changed men's lives, and it can change yours too. Alrighty folks, adventure awaits. We'll see you all again soon.
All my bags are packed, ready to go, standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's
So it's a 19-inch lure you have there.
Look at that. Nobody can manufacture that. Look at that. That looks like a pipe, doesn't it?
Actually, I think it's manufactured by Savage Gear.
so kiss me and smile for me.
Look at that. Look at that movement. It's got the movement of the Phillies. Look at that. Who's your daddy now?
'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know